3. Hello and welcome to Van Allen's Attic Christmas style. Master Kevin is on the keyboard. At 3.
Oh, that's so cute, Kevin. We're so proud of you.
Let me finish.
All right. Don't interrupt the genius in his work. Heavens to Megatron.
You know how long it took me to practice to learn that?
Well, it's only 8 notes.
Well, yeah, but I'm like a novice, and look, and here you are. You know, I'm sorry because I just learned it, so I was looking at the keys the whole time.
Look.
I'm not like you that I could just look at the sky and
Look.
Thanks for helping me out teaching.
I'm gonna teach
machine
you
here.
all about music
Okay.
here.
All right.
And
Happy Christmas.
oh yes,
Keith.
and Marius, Joel, Noel, and all those other things
Yes.
to everybody out there in TV Cyberland.
You look great.
I
You look very
look like
Christmassy.
something. Yes, it's so loud it knocks the lights out. It blows out the fuses. This is what you do at Christmas time. You actually look kind of conservative, but but underneath, take that.
Jackson Pollock
This
designed this shirt. One of his black periods.
You know that's what I learned, how you can arrest somebody without handcuffs, like in a Humphrey Bogart movie with when you
I've seen that.
on the mall. Yeah,
Get off of me!
It was the Maltese Falcon and Wilma. It was what's his name? Who played Wilma?
That was Elisha Cook.
Elijah Cook. He got all messed up like that.
Do you really think that the Falcon is real?
Yeah, the Gunzel. You're the Gunzel. Yeah. And he goes in to see the fat man.
Yeah.
He said, "See what I did to your Gunzel? Take your Gunzel and stuff it."
I'm more Christmassy than you think. First off, they had some leftover Christmas wrapping at home, so they made a tie for me. It's very nice.
This light.
The other thing is you have a halo.
This light is too bright. Yeah, I know. I'm the Mother Mary. They're having a vision. It's the vision of Scaffolda.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
You remember that crazy vision that used to be on road signs?
Yes.
Like, why are children seeing the Mother Mary in Gefolta?
Yes.
Gefolta Stolfafan.
It was
somewhere in South America.
There's also one in Yugoslavia.
Yeah,
and
it's always someplace like Balasa Funka.
It was crying statues of it was a crying statue of the Madonna
in a church.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Dubrovnik or one of these places in Yugoslavia. What happened in the former Yugoslavia? What happened was, and people were like making pilgrimages to these places. And everything.
Well, you're Catholic. You're half Catholic. Where did you go?
No, but I tell you what I did see was on 48 Hours they showed a magician doing it, making statues cry. There was no wires. There was no. He said, there is a trick to this. This is a trick.
But what got me, they used to put up signboards on the side of the road, and it says, "Why is the Mother Mary appearing in?" And I'll just slam on brakes.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. I just want to figure out that name. I don't want to go.
But what happened
with a name
was,
like that, I'm not going to go.
But
anyway.
what happened?
No, I was pretty fascinated.
What? Like I said, on 48 hours, once they figured out a magician could make this happen, then actually the church itself. I know a bit about this. The Catholic Church did not grant it a miracle beatification or something because
whatever
they now it's a little harder because of our technology and our knowledge of science for the church to approve a lot of miracles. It's not like it used to be.
Well, I don't want to come off like Mr. Skeptic. Everybody likes to make a religion out of skepticism.
Mm-hmm.
I just love being skeptical.
Yeah.
No, I actually believe in miracles. I believe that otherworldly things do occur.
Yeah.
It's just discerning which are the real ones and which are the crazy. But I mean, I've had weird little, I've talked about them, metaphysical things happen in my own life that you just can't explain except by including the other world, you know.
Yeah.
Like that guy that almost mugged me in New York.
That's right.
And I was asleep.
Tell us about it. Yeah.
I told you that. Well, I did it once. It's the only one I can think of. But I was in New York during a blizzard.
Yeah.
And we were all held over at Kennedy Airport. And I had to find a place to sleep. And it was hard to find a place. There was so many people. Yeah. Big snowstorm. And I put myself down on the floor with my feet up on this stone coffee table. They had these big, some designer made these giant stone, I guess it was stone or macadamized or cement coffee table. And you put your feet up there, and there's another stone seat you put your head on, and you kind of gather all your luggage about you underneath your legs and stuff like that. So, and then you're going to try to grab a few winks because you need it real bad. And if you figure if anybody comes, you know, you'll feel it. Well, I did get some good sleep there, and I was sleeping real soundly, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, I woke up. My eyes just went up, and I was staring into the face of a mugger who was up on that big table, pounced already, what do you call it? To pounce on me. He was like that with his hand, and he was going to grab my stuff and run. And he was looking directly into my eyes, and I was looking directly into his. He must have thought I was bewitched. Yes. But it was like some superpower, a guardian angel. This is the season for guardian angels. Oversaw me and made me wake up, and I just went, hey, buddy. And I didn't know what I was doing. It just happened. Yeah. And he took off. He just, he went, and he jumped off.
He counted on you being asleep the whole time.
Yeah, he was going to grab the stuff under my legs and start running. And even if I woke up, he figured he'd be halfway across the thing.
I think when people get really close to you, especially if they're strangers, you do wake up. I've never not woken up if somebody like tapped me on the shoulder if I'm like at the airport.
Yeah, but he hadn't touched me. He was still a foot and a half away from me.
Okay, yeah.
He was like pretty close, but he was like a foot and a half.
Yeah.
He was out there, up on that table, poised. That's the word I was looking for. Poised to pounce. Yeah. Poised to pounce. Yeah. And he was like, and I just, right into his eyes. And boy, a lot of things
and
like
a miracle,
that.
You think?
To me, well, it's, what it constitutes a miracle. Yeah. Something happening that cannot be explained by normal logic of the physical world. Yeah. Something that has to be a connection to something from the beyond. You could say, somebody might say, well, it was your own brain picking up his. But even that's a miracle too. Clairvoyance, you know, if it was that's still a miracle. Yeah. Or if it was a guardian angel thing or connection with the other realms, which I do believe. That's one of the cool things about Christmas is it's full of metaphysical stuff. Everything gets dark. Yeah. And we start thinking about angels. If you can get your mind on it, you know, you got to do all the shopping. But a really good Christmas story deals with this kind of stuff. And that's why Dickens was so good. Yeah. And who the Dickens was he? But
well, actually, that was A Long Dream, which everyone has. The Christmas Carol.
Carol? Oh. Well, he
and the twice he woke up in the middle of the night, he had to take a pee. That's when he went back to sleep in the second.
It was
he's an old guy.
That was that little jar they had under the bed. They used to call those Tutter buckets. Yeah. My dad called them up on the phone. cutter buckets.
Yeah.
But anyway, but it was a miracle. He
Yeah.
changed his whole
Yeah.
soul and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Which I love a good horror, which that is a good ghost
Yes.
story that has a beautiful ending. And
Yes.
when you go down into the depths and you deal with the devil or whatever, and you come out good on the end. And they're not easy to write those. I'm trying to write one myself. I started out writing a pure horror story, and to be a good low budget film, and but I'm trying to put that metaphysical good twist on it.
Now, this is a horror story you're writing, or like more?
Yeah, I've written a lot of
typical ghost.
I've written a lot of short stories.
Yeah.
A lot of them metaphysical and kind of horror, or also humorous. But I've got enough for a collection now. But I got to type them up and everything. But this I wanted to also make. I want it to be a book or story that you could print, but you could also make a low budget movie.
Yes.
And shoot it right around here.
Horror movies are.
And you can I'm putting a part in. I always put a part.
Oh, good! I can play the ghost.
Yeah. Ooh, hand me that thing.
Oh yeah. Horror movies are like the most famous low budget films of all. A lot of directors get their start with.
Yeah, that's I'm doing it. But it's something you can, if you write it and direct it well, and especially write it well, you can have an impact with very little money.
You don't have to build sets. Too many sets. Oh, what's this?
Ooh.
Ooh, wow.
This is the ghost of Christmas presents. Yes.
Presents?
Christmas presents. And
that's what I thought it was when I was a kid. The Christmas Carol, the ghost of Christmas presents. And I thought they were talking about, what people give each other.
We'll talk about him.
Yes.
I wanted to teach you.
What happened?
Get
a toupee on this.
Yeah,
on this fellow. It's a very pretty face on
it's a mannequin, yes.
Yeah. I mean, that could be a boy or a girl. A young boy or a pretty girl.
It's an androgynous piece of styrofoam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I drew that on there. You get these things that come with, I don't know where they buy a hat. My mom bought a hat, or I picked it up in the dumpster. I don't know. Yeah. I got several of them. They're good for like.
Nice hat yet. I mean, tell me about the hat.
Oh, my dad.
On there.
Well, my dad. My dad had a stroke years ago, and then he lived for 13 more years. Mm-hmm. He was all ready to go. He loved the idea of death and going to the angels and everything, and he was saying bye-bye. And then he had this stroke, and they saved him, and then they had to open his head up, and it was like a subdural hematoma, and he had to live for a year with a hole in his head.
Wow.
Oh, and he had basically 3 brain operations. Mm-hmm. Because they had to cut open the head to get the infection out. It was a freak infection. At first he was okay, but anyway.
Any big change in him?
And he cried a lot, and but he did start getting back his personality.
That's good.
But he couldn't stand up by himself. You had to hold him, but he was getting his speech and everything back, and he was enjoying himself. But it wasn't what he expected, and he lived 13 more years like that. But he never cussed.
No.
He didn't believe in cussing all those years I knew him.
Yeah.
But after the stroke, he had so much trouble getting his words out. He's trying to say the word, and he's trying to say door, and it'd come out window, door. And they'd say, hell's bells.
Hell's bells.
And he could say that fine.
Yes.
So anybody tells you sometimes cussing is good. But
I do it all.
He would go hell's bells, and that was the first time he had really, to any degree, he'd ever cussed in his life.
Yes.
And so we made him a hat, and I don't know if you can.
I see it. Hell's bells.
Can you see it on camera? Hell's bells.
That's actually kind of a cute phrase.
Yeah.
Hell is not a bad word. It's a place where
for Dad was a wild kind of crazy guy, but he
opposite of heaven.
Came from the country and had grown up a Baptist, and he became an Episcopalian. But he didn't like uncouth or ugly language. He would wince. He was trying to hold up civilization a little bit, and so whenever I would say some cuss words, he'd wince. He'd make me feel guilty.
You
Kinda
feel like Richard Pryor.
Yeah, Richard Pryor. Hey, I saw a black lady the other day.
Yeah.
At the store.
Mm-hmm.
We both had our masks on.
Yeah.
And she was looking at me. I think we kind of did some eye work there.
Yeah.
And she had very interesting eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was trying to wonder what she would. Everybody.
Yes.
They get mysterious and beautiful.
I know.
We wear these
look
masks.
like we're wearing burqas.
Yeah. Maybe that's the secret of Islam all these years. But she had these eyes, and I suddenly realized she had Richard Pryor eyes.
Richard Pryor.
And I wanted to make up this song,
Yeah.
Richard Pryor eyes. We were behind our masks. We wore a disguise. She had Richard Pryor eyes. And she did.
Yeah.
Richard Pryor, great comedian. But he had these sad eyes. He's like, what's the matter? What's going on here? And then he had these eyes. He looked like he was so sad in his eyes and so funny at the same time.
He's a troubled guy, and it showed in his comedy.
Yeah.
So he was almost like a profane Emmett Kelly at times.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. But he did accomplish a lot of great stuff on film, and we're thankful for that. But I wanted to teach you how to play.
Oh.
How to play.
More? Another lesson?
Yeah, well, you can be even more full of the Spirit and through your hands and expulsating the Christmas.
I'll expulsiate.
Yeah, you expulsiate the Christmas Gestalt. What is it? Gestalt?
Gestalt.
We're going to put Gestalt, Christmas Gestalt, by putting your...
In my case, it's Gefilte.
Gefilte, yeah. Have you ever gefilte... Well, tell me, have you ever gefilte a piano?
Gefilte? No.
Have you ever gefilte a fish? Believe me, if the piano starts to feel like a fish, tell me about it, because I'm going to get this thing fixed. All right. Start on high C.
Actually, I have to tell you, I am very happy to learn another lesson from you. So he taught me how to play the beginning.
I am the professor, Professor Rory.
Wait, I can learn from my
Professor Torrey. Oh, I thought you were going to bury your suspenders. Now he can't read, he can't see anything, he can't play anything, but it looks cool.
Here we go. I can't see it. I can't see a damn thing on my glass.
See a thing.
Yeah.
All right. Start with high C. All right. All you got to do is go down the scale. You're going to play a very famous Christmas song, and anybody can do it. You just go down the scale from C without changing a note. I mean, without going up or down.
Which one do I
start on C.
C.
Space. That space here between.
Okay, between
right beside
B and A.
Yeah.
Between B and D.
Right where these two black keys by themselves, you start on
C. Wait. Oh! Keep going.
And you jump up to G again.
Oh, let me see that. Let me see if I can do that.
Wait a minute.
No, let me see.
I want to show you again.
No,
see, it's really easy.
I think I can do this.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Let me do it the simple way. Okay. All right.
Right. Now let's try it one more time.
Okay.
See if you've absorbed your lesson. Okay. My word. He's a Quasimodo all by himself. He's a Quasimodo. He's got the bells in his head. He's got bells in his belfry. He's got an organ up there. He's a genius.
I can't. You know what?
I have no idea.
I'm going on tour now.
I don't know. You had it in you. I didn't know you had it in you.
I'm going on tour now. In fact, I like that song. It goes, now I want to hear the part, all the boys and girls, joy to the fishes.
Oh, about the frog.
Is that,
Jeremiah was a bullfrog.
That's Joy in the World, right? That's what I was playing? Yeah.
Singing joy to the world.
Very
oh,
nice.
the boys.
Oh,
Yeah, get on the job.
wow.
If that ain't
Oh.
enough Christmas for you, I don't
Yes.
know what is.
You're you're the new Bing Crosby with all the Christmas stuff.
I left my pipe at home. I can't do a thing. I can't do a thing without it. Hey, little boy. Well, I'm feeling very Christmassy here. So let's bring out the presents.
All right.
The ghost of Christmas
Thank you.
presents. Yes.
These are for the people at home.
Yeah, with the little birds on now. It looks all Christmassy. Got to drink a little orange juice here and get real.
Hey, Mary, put
Chummy.
that gun away.
Yeah, oh, watch out, watch out. Up.
She shot JR. His daughter.
Oh, I don't know which one's which.
Oh, okay. I got you the same thing.
You did? Yeah, I know.
I mean, we shop at the same store.
Wait a minute. I should have marked these so we could tell what's in it.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong one. Yeah, you take that one. I'll take this one.
This for me?
Yeah, that's for you. It's totally original.
Oh, wow. It's an envelope.
Yeah, a gift certificate at Dollar General stores for $1.62. Recipient Kevin Kravitz. Oh, this is yours. I think I got them.
And mine says, well, actually, this is the one I sent you. Gift certificate at the Dollar Tree for $1.62.
Oh, well, at least we're even on value.
I think you can't buy anything for 62 cents.
This is the most amazing
at the
thing.
Dollar Tree.
Thank you, Kevin. This is very thoughtful of you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
We didn't plan that at all. Okay, so what are we talking about tonight? It is Christmas week thing. Well,
yeah, I
you got anything?
let's see. Yeah, I got some coffee.
You got the Batmobile. Oh, you got your coffee and I don't have my coffee.
Yeah. I was listening to this CD.
Oh. Hello, mother. Oh, I know the one you're talking about. Alan Sherman.
The best of Alan Sherman.
But there's a song he does on there.
Yeah.
That's
about the Christmas?
No,
the 12 Gifts of Christmas, I think.
Oh, he does that?
Yeah, it's on here. But he had a lot of hits, but I mean, it was very
I wrote
interesting.
one time that was
with my introduction to comedy and certainly parody, and I thought all songs were supposed to be funny after listening to the first couple of albums. When I was a kid, we listened to the LPs all the time.
I wrote one time. It was on the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a cartridge and a bear tree. And and then later on it was like 2 of Myrtle's gloves, 3 henchmen, and a cartridge and a bear tree. On the 4th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me words. These guys 5 stole things. 4 appalling words, 3 henchmen, 2 of Myrtle's gloves, and a cartridge and a bear tree. And my dad and I, we messed up my mom. Dad made this bear tree. He went out and got a hunk of tree and put it in the stand with a cartridge hanging. And he set it in the living room.
Oh, man.
My mother had decorated it to the nines, as she always did. And he sat there, that thing in the middle of the living room. My mother started crying. She said, I will not go through Christmas with that thing in the room. So we had to get rid of it.
We had all these Christmas albums when I was a kid, and I appear on another show with Mary, and we talk about Christmas albums all the time. But I remember listening to the Alan Sherman Christmas song And I remember the Chipmunks Christmas song. And I remember
Christmas time is here.
all the songs were funny. And we used to do, yeah. And
I'm gonna post a bunch of them
yeah.
towards Christmas, as many as I can dig up. So watch my Facebook.
Now, what was kind of neat about Alan Sherman was he had these hit songs like "Hello Mudda, Hello Fada," which was based on "The Dance of the Hours" by Ponchielli. It was also in the movie Fantasia.
Yeah, the Dance of the Hours.
Yeah, the Dance of the Hours.
Da 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 da, and the hippos do their thing.
They had such little confidence, Warner Brothers, when they released the first Alan Sherman album, that they only allowed him to do, I think, the 10 or 12 songs in there based on songs in the public domain. So he had to use patriotic songs, Gilbert and Sullivan songs. Yeah, I think there's Alouettes. Yeah, they didn't want the Streets of Laredo cowboy songs and Dance of the Hours. And I was so excited when I saw Fantasia. Because, hey, that's the music from the Alan Sherman song, Hello Mudda, Hello Fada.
You know the one he does? I don't know if we're going to do a New Year's show or what. Are we going to do
I hope so.
Well, he did a great New Year's song.
Yeah.
Shall we sing it?
What is it?
There was a guy. No.
Oh.
The guy.
I know the song.
There was a man whose name was Lang, and he was very old. No, and he had
a neon sign.
And he had.
And Mr. Lang was very old, so they called it Old Lang's Sign. Which is top comedy when you're like a little kid.
And we didn't practice it at all.
No, obviously.
Well, I used to know it a couple of years ago.
But so after, what was kind of neat was he had these two first albums, and then they were such big sellers that Warner Brothers allowed him to use popular songs like Downtown and Beatles songs and stuff to parody. They were able to buy rights to those, but those albums didn't do as well as the first two. Because
the record industry is very cruel, very, very cruel.
Also, it's important to note he was only really famous for 2 years. He was a producer, old time television producer in the 1950s.
So he did keep working.
No, this was before he did this.
Sometimes these guys go back to being a producer.
Well, this is kind of weird what happened to him. He produced the show I've Got a Secret. And there's one show that you could actually catch it online.
Oh, he produced that?
Well, you can catch it online where everything went wrong. I remember seeing
his name on credits, though.
Everything went wrong. It was the episode with Broderick Crawford, and they actually gave the secret out before it came. And like everything, and after the show, they fired him. So he didn't know what to do, and he was a big... he was in Hollywood. He was very good at parodies. So they said, "Why don't you record those parodies?" And then he became a big star for 2 years.
Should have created the Gong Show.
Yeah, but the craziest thing was he didn't prepare for success. He wasn't a joke teller. He wasn't an actor. He didn't have a series or anything. And thus, after 2 years, and his career kind of stalled at that point. And then he actually wound up kind of penniless. Maybe 10 years later. Dying of a high blood pressure, he was overweight, and they had emphysema and stuff, and he wound up living in an old folks' home and dying there. He died in 1973, a young man. And
Stan Freberg ended up kind of poor too, because he was a friend of Ray Bradbury.
Yeah, another parody.
And I remember Ray Bradbury saying that he was together with Stan, and Stan was saying, "I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't have any work. I don't have any money." He was pretty desperate there at one point.
Last thing I saw of Stan Freberg,
he was brilliant.
Was his son was doing an encyclopedia commercial.
Oh,
but I mean, Stan Freberg directly because you hear his voice as the narrator. Because Stan Freberg had that uncanny voice that narrates his commercials and stuff, and it also the record albums Stan Freberg did. So, that Stan Freberg was great. With his that spoof of Saint George and the Dragonette.
Oh.
Yeah, and also the
Little Blue Riding Hood.
Yeah, Little Blue Riding.
That was on the flip side. I got the 45.
Yeah, and also, but my favorite was the one where he's Lawrence Welk.
What was that?
It was called Wonderful, Wonderful, and every time someone performed, and it sounds just like a real, it sounds like a real Lawrence Welk show, and then all of a sudden you hear all this bubbling, and it was turn off the bubble machine. Turn off the bubble machine. It was great.
And then he got a rim shot. See, I got
Yes.
See, here's your rim shot.
Stan Freberg was also asked to be to do the ads for "It's a Mad, 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 Mad World," just the ads on radio. And then what happened?
Really?
Was, and then what happened? What happened was they had to do some reshoots, and he just happened to be around, and they had him just sit as an extra. And thus you see to this day,
he's
you
in
see,
the cop.
you
He's in
see
the
him,
cop.
Yeah, you see him, but he has no dialogue. But you say, "Oh, there's Stan Freberg." Everyone's in that movie.
Oh.
Everyone's favorite movie. Oh, I found out something about that movie. It's a Mad, 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 Mad World. It's the first movie I ever saw. I saw it at the Beacon Theater not in New York, but in Hopewell, Virginia.
I was going to say, the Beacon is in Hopewell.
Yeah, in Hopewell. And I just found out.
Not that should you admit you lived in Hopewell,
that
but
my
go ahead.
children's theater that I belong to, we're going to do the Chesterfield Children's Theater. Have kind of
you're coming up with that?
Well, hopefully in 2021, and they're relocating a lot of stuff to Hopewell, and the big shows we're going to do are going to be in the Beacon Theater. And I was there.
Sounds like a great
when
venue.
I was 4 years old.
Sounds like a great. It's a cool theater.
Yeah,
it's kind of shaped like a wedge.
Yeah,
and it's an old style theater.
It used to be a movie theater when I was a kid. I saw. In fact, they even showed like I Am Curious Yellow there for something like 3 months.
I marched in a parade down there in the 8th grade in band.
Yeah.
And my dad got a picture of me with my big ass walking down the street out of step playing my clarinet.
Oh, your clarinet.
I was totally out of step.
I was wondering what
my dad had to take a picture of it.
I was wondering what type of instrument the ass is. I've never. Is that a?
It's like
it's like a sousaphone or something.
Yeah. Hey, I seize the phone. It's right there. I'm gonna answer it too. But
I've never heard of anyone play a sousaphone.
It's a big, overly done tuba. Yeah. It was designed by somebody in Sousa's band. Yeah. It was designed by Robert Wagner. You ever see the?
Should be the Wagner phone.
You ever seen the biopic
of Sousa?
Yeah, starring what's his name who was in Laura? Yeah.
Dana Andrews?
No, Clifton Webb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big color Technicolor extravaganza, very good film. And his son-in-law is played by Robert Wagner.
Oh, okay. Robert Wagner. Oh, the
guy that was married to
the guy who survived the
drowning.
The drowning of Natalie was drowning and never.
I don't believe it. Anyway, Robert Wagner plays the son-in-law, and he invents the sousaphone. Yes. He's like a goofy son-in-law, a comedy relief in the story. He says, "Sir, I've got this idea of making it easier to play the tuba while marching in the band." And we wrap it around the body, and they come up with it. Wow. That's why it's called the sousaphone. So, and I guess that's how it happened in real life. But it was developed in Sousa's band. Yes. By somebody, I guess.
All that great
Robert Wagner.
All that great music.
Gotta Google that. But,
I saw a lot of movies when I was a kid of famous composers. I always wonder how much of them are truthful. Like I saw one with Steve Allen playing Benny Goodman, and I saw one with Nat King Cole playing W.C. Handy, and I saw one with Danny Thomas playing not Billy Rose, but the guy who wrote it's called "I See You in My Dreams."
I don't know.
Yeah, that was good. But then the craziest one I saw had Danny Kaye playing Red Nichols in the Five Nickels.
Yeah, that got me real depressed because I was playing the trumpet, and then there's a scene where he throws his trumpet into San Francisco Bay. Yeah, off the Golden Gate
retires.
Bridge,
yeah,
and all that. Yeah. But throwing that trumpet. Dropping it into San Francisco Bay really got me.
The story makes a real weird turn because all like music and fun.
Basically,
and then the daughter gets polio and she spends the rest of the movie in an iron lung. It's pretty depressing.
Well, I think she gets out of it.
She gets better. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he has a comeback with Louis Armstrong and the gang, and they're
all there because they all started with his band. But I don't know any songs by Red. I don't think I've ever heard of Red. Heard any songs by Red Nichols.
He was a good hot jazz band.
back in the 20s.
You can Google.
Yeah, I guess they're around. Yeah.
Yeah, he was good. It was kind of like Dixieland hot stuff. Yeah. But the thing is, like in the movie, he started going out of sight.
Yeah.
In the 30s. And then by World War II, he was totally out of sight, and he was working in the shipyard.
Yeah.
But it was because of the troubles raising his daughter and everything like that. He had to give up being on the road. He needed a more secure income.
Yeah.
And then during World War II, he was down on the shipyard.
Yeah.
And his daughter was growing up, and they said, "Who's this? Your dad's so square." You know, look at these old records my dad did.
Yeah.
And they played one day, and he
all the hep cats.
And he starts ripping off one, and they say, "Oh, yeah, he doesn't do bebop."
Yeah,
but
he doesn't do. I don't think there's any good bebop movies. I mean, in during the bebop era.
Well, I don't know.
There's documentaries that are.
Well, I think there's some film noir movies that use it for the soundtrack.
Yeah,
which it works very well. Yeah. For film noir movies. And then Friz Freleng did a good cartoon called The Three Little Bops about the three little pigs.
Yes.
Stan Freberg. Yeah. Oh, the three little bops blew into town, and the big bad wolf was hanging round, and they came on down and got in the club, and the boop baba dooba and a rubba dooba, whatever. But it's great.
Yes.
It's beautiful, and he does it in stylistic animation, and he didn't go to heaven, and the big bad wolf he was out of sight. He couldn't play the trumpet, but he kept blowing and blowing and blowing. And then it blew up. He didn't go to heaven, went to the other place. I said, "Man, he's down in hell now." And there's this big hole in the floor, and he comes up. But now he really swings. Yeah. And he comes up and sits in the band in his ghostly form.
Ghostly form.
That's a great cartoon.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is rhyme, scatting with Stan Freberg.
And Stan Freberg, I mean, I never
complete cartoon.
I wasn't. You know, the trouble is when you're a kid, you're like at the mercy of whatever your local TV, whatever Warner Brothers or Disney cartoons they showed on the local TV. But because of the internet, you could see a lot of this stuff, and I had never seen that Three Little Pops. The
thing is,
Warner Brothers made.
The packages that get sold to television stations change over the years. Yeah. And now it's almost impossible. Or else you got to pay through the nose to see it. But you can probably search it. I'll try to
we'll put it in there. Also, there's actually all these Warner Brothers cartoons they won't even release that are all politically incorrect. With you had stuff,
Well, you got to see the way things were,
and the craziest thing is that times, you can still see them on YouTube because there's people.
But a lot of times, the politically incorrect stuff at the time, blacks and whites were hip to it both. Yeah, they didn't mind it. Yeah. Like if you play So White and D7 Dwarves.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
which is a really classic, beautifully animated cartoon by
Bob Clampett.
And it's actually a takeoff on Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
it's got references to Citizen Kane in there, and with the looking through the crystal ball and the other stuff and
snow globe
and the Xanadu stuff. Yeah, it's beautifully done. Yeah, and we showed it in Steve Siegel's class. I begged Steve to get it, and we showed it in his history class. And there was a whole lot of black cats in the audience. And we showed it, and they loved it. They loved it. And it was, because Bob Clampett loved black jazz and scat music and all kinds. He used to go to the clubs and hang out. He'd go to there to hear the music and to get these ideas for the cartoons.
Yeah. In fact, there's
he did a Fats Waller cartoon too, but they weren't able to get Fats doing the soundtrack, so not quite as good, but it's interesting.
There's actually, if you know your history of music, popular music, like there's like all that big band stuff, and then there's the rock and roll stuff, and then there's maybe a 10-year period from like 1946 to 1956 where what was the popular music? And well, there was typical stuff like Patti Page and stuff, Rosemary Clooney. That was the popular stuff. But then the kids, the young people always are ahead of the curve. as far as what, and they listened to what was called race music. Race. They actually were called that on the race records. Or
well, some of them were.
Yeah.
It was when what's his name started pushing it on. Who was the guy that up in Ohio?
Alan Freed.
Alan Freed. He started promoting it.
Yeah.
So and down in Rockabilly World of the Sun Records in Memphis, there was crossover happening.
Yeah.
That's where Elvis and old Jerry Lee Lewis. I was listening to him doing some boogie, and nobody could beat Jerry at boogie piano. I mean, sometimes he's doing his big hits. He's just ding da 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 da, but he could do the really fancy boogie almost better than anybody.
He's still around.
Yeah,
he had an album called Last Man Standing, meaning he's the last survivor of and that was about 5 years ago.
I saw
last record.
I didn't know he was.
He had duets with lots of popular singers.
I didn't know he's still
Kid Rock and Bruce Springsteen and people like that.
I saw him live over at Monroe Park.
You saw him live?
I got some 8mm footage.
Oh, great! Yeah. I saw him at Yankee Stadium in 1986. There was the Statue of Liberty celebration, and everyone was at the Statue of Liberty to see the fireworks and everything. But there was something going on in a ball game. I went to see the baseball game. I love baseball. But I heard about this, that they had the Grucci fireworks after that, because it was like July 3rd. And then there was Fats Domino, and then there was Jerry Lee Lewis. And the people I was with after Fats Domino said, "Okay, let's go home." I said, "No, I'm here to see Jerry Lee Lewis." and it took a while for Jerry Lee Lewis to come out, because they said he's only going to come out if people start behaving. And then we were all behaving. I got the idea he wasn't there yet. And there was a chance.
He's having a drinking problem.
Well, there's always the chance when you see Jerry Lee Lewis, and a few people, and I think George Jones, people like that, they didn't show up. Hank Williams, I heard, wouldn't show up.
Well, Hank Williams did get a lot of drunk.
Yeah, but then, because it was New York City,
when I was in
Jerry Lee Lewis did show up and did a great show.
Hank Williams had a lot of problems. When I was in Nashville, I thought there should be some historic markers saying Hank Williams threw up here, Hank Williams threw up there. But he's great.
He only lived to be 29.
Yeah, but he cranked out some good stuff.
If he would have lived, he could have been the greatest composer of all, songwriter of all time.
Well, I don't know. I don't like to say greatest about anybody.
Well, he only lived to be.
I mean, I could say Mozart's the greatest, but then I turn around and look what Brahms did. Oh, look what Beethoven did. You know, it depends on your mood at the time, but he was absolutely great.
I do my best. I do what I can.
But
don't make pejoratives about me.
Pejoratives?
I'm a very smart guy. I'm not a kid.
What's a pejorative?
Pejorative.
That sounds
it's
like
a big word.
It sounds like you slowed the record down. But it's solid. Everything you're saying is solid, Jackson. Solid. I gotta say, it's solid. And which brings me to the point. I did get you a decent gift. Not that other gag gift. I bought you something. I mean, you like jewelry. You like things of quality and substance to decorate your showbiz self and all your tonsorial perspectability there. Tonsorial, is that
all about that?
Sontorial, whatever. Anyway, I got this.
Sardonic.
Yeah, a full cubic, an absolutely authentic cubic foot of granite from Scranton, Pennsylvania.
That's where the Biden is from.
It was mine, yeah. It was mine there in his honor.
President.
Well, mine there in your honor, since you're such a wonderful blockhead. I mean, head for motion picture and knowledge of the media, and such a great contribution to the media in general.
Thanks for getting me a rock. A giant rock.
It's very heavy now. Be careful to it.
Right.
Here, okay. Well, oh my God! Hey, your head has a nice tune to it.
Stop! Quit it! Quit it! Stop it! Stop it!
You'll have to get that thing tuned, or learn where to hit it so you can play music on it.
It's heavier than you God, this is heavy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to.
That
Funny
is
man.
a little strange. Isn't it?
Hope that knocked some sense into you.
Yeah, I think you did. So
Actually, I think you made me funnier. So
yeah,
so I'm
It's one of
all
those-
set for more comedy.
divine. It's one of those Alvin Klein interventions, Calvin Klein interventions.
Klein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you come out
Man who invented
canning.
underwear.
You come out canning, and you got new pants. And yes,
Before Calvin Klein, people
didn't
only
he do jeans?
well, he did jeans too. Before him, people only spent like $3 for jeans and 25 cents for underwear. Now they spend.
Now you're paying for that that logo, Calvin Klein.
Yeah.
I mean, back when it was Fruit of the Loom, the Fruit of the Loom logo was beautifully painted. All those grapes and things like that. That only cost $7.
Yeah.
So
I heard a funny joke about underwear. You're getting up in the world when you stop buying underwear 3 in a pack and start buying it separately.
oh, you're making a fashion statement.
Yeah.
I've got one pair of Calvin Klein underwear, and I'm going to show it to the neighbors.
Put on the clothesline to show people that you're doing well.
I'm going to hang it on the mailbox and stand behind my window to see what the mailman says. Which is called keeping up with the Boneses, the Jones. I mean, keeping up
right
with
the
them.
first time.
Yeah. What are we gonna do for Christmas? I don't know what he's gonna do. What are you gonna do?
I'm gonna listen to more funny music. Remember Tom Lehrer?
Oh God, I love Tom Lehrer.
Yeah, isn't he great? Yeah, Tom Lehrer.
Angels
There's
we
nothing
have
really good
heard on high tell us to go out and buy. Get out there. It's only 3 more days.
This is like all his songs on it. I just got this.
He was a college professor. He just did them at Harvard.
That's right.
And I think he did make some.
And he wasn't, just like Alan Sherman, he wasn't really popular for very long. I guess when you're a song parodist, unless you're Weird Al, you're not going to really have a long career.
But didn't he do some European tours?
He had tours, and he played the same songs over. But basically, he was a mathematician.
Yeah.
And
I'll forgive him for that.
Few years.
I'll forgive him for being a mathematician.
And all his songs are very dated. They're very like of the 1950s and of the Ivy League. And then the Eisenhower era, and then they became of the Vietnam era. He made a comeback.
He sings one
he's
about
still alive, I think.
Werner von. No, he's dead. I'm sure.
Tom Lehrer.
Yeah. He sings one about Werner von Braun.
Yes.
Oh, the rockets go up. Who cares where they come down? Nazi schmatzi says Werner von Braun. Werner von Braun.
Yeah.
My uncle worked with him.
Werner?
No, not Tom Lehrer. Werner von Braun.
Now tell me about.
He worked.
What type of guy was he?
My uncle.
I'm sure your uncle was a fine man. Braun was a Nazi.
I don't know. Look at the footage. He was a boss.
Yeah.
He was they made him pretty much the head of NASA.
Yeah.
My uncle was a
rocket scientist,
electrical engineer, designer.
Yeah.
He had his picture on Life magazine. In Life magazine, I'm going to pull that out one of these days. Working on our first Sputnik.
Yeah.
My uncle attaching a package. They called it.
Your uncle did? Yeah. Sputnik. You worked on Sputnik?
No, America's answer to.
Oh, wait, it was
Sputnik.
Sputnik was the Russian. Yeah.
Yeah. Vanguard, I believe, was ours. Anyway, it was the first American satellite, and it looked like Sputnik.
Yeah.
It was about that big.
Yeah.
It had little beep beeps, antennas off of it. And there's a picture of my uncle who looks like Mr. Science,
Don Herbert.
Well, the tall guy in the white suit and the bald head,
Yeah, that guy.
One of those, Mr. Wizard or something.
Mr. Wizard, yeah.
Yeah, I did a cartoon of him one time as Mr. Wizard.
Yeah.
And he was very funny, and he was good at talking about stuff. He gave me a tour of NASA one time, which I've got on tape.
Yeah.
And I'll have to broadcast that.
He was funnier than Werner von Braun, I'm sure.
I think so.
Werner von Braun probably had a German sense of humor.
Yeah. Well, he was actually pretty young and full of hair and everything. He was kind of handsome, pretty young. Yeah, well, you know, Disney made a movie with him in it.
Yeah.
Disney made Man in Space,
Yeah.
which was very well received by NASA and everything like that.
Yeah.
And Werner von Braun appears in that.
Yes.
And Ward Kimball directed a lot of
Yeah.
that. And there's a lot of neat animation in it, but it's also live people, and you get to see old Warner in action.
He's dramatized in the movie The Right Stuff a lot, but he doesn't come out very good. And there's a problem with the movie The Right Stuff in that
I haven't
everyone.
seen it.
Well, it's about the Gemini.
I thought you were going to say Dr. Strangelove.
Gemini. Well, Doctor Strangelove is a lot like. It's supposed to be, I think, based on Werner von Braun, and a little bit of Henry Kissinger thrown in too.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, there's a story that Kubrick. Here we go with Kubrick again. But Kubrick was inspired by seeing Henry Kissinger at a party in Massachusetts at MIT or somewhere years before Kissinger was famous.
Yeah, and
was so impressed with his personality that when he did the movie, he got Peter Sellers, to do this.
I remember when Henry Kissinger was first becoming known in the news, they didn't have him interviewed that much or at all because nobody heard his voice. And then you hear his voice, and he sounds like this. He sounds, Mr. President. But Henry Kissinger's still with us.
Yeah, he is with us. And he still goes on television.
Yeah. Henry That was good, but I could do that.
Put that in your belfry and smoke it. Okay, let me see it. Let me see you. You gotta know your buttons. You gotta know your buttons.
I'll concede. No, that was very good. That was, I don't mean
my fingers are cold.
That was very good.
But yeah,
that was wonderful. In Excelsis Deo.
Yeah, Angels. It's the thing that what's his name did.
What's his name?
The guy we were just talking about. Angels, we have heard. The guy from Harvard.
Oh, Tom Lehrer, yeah.
Dyslexia strikes again. And picture comes in and the words go out. It's like a big suction machine and all these images and Mickey Mouse and the Empire State Building and downtown Toledo. They all come soaking into my brain and I can see them all, but I can't think of a damn word to say. Felix Unger, you're impossible. Suddenly I feel like Walter Matthau. I don't know why, but I feel like Walter Matthau because he was like that as Oscar Madison. He was very dyslexic, except when he was looking at sports.
Now, Oscar, why? Don't you see that I'm trying to clean up the place while you're playing cards with all your friends?
What do you call this? Linguini? What is it?
It's not spaghetti. It happens to be linguini.
Now it's garbage. Garbage.
I was going to. I just lent right into our friend Jack Lemmon, but that's who I was imitating.
That's right.
But while you were doing Walter Matthau, I was going to do George Burns from the Sunshine Boys.
Come in and enter. Let's do it. We got to do the doctor sketch. I'm not going to go on the show unless we do the doctor sketch.
Listen, if you don't say enter, if you say, you're supposed to say come in. If you say enter one more time, I'm leaving. And I won't come in unless it's with a lawyer.
All right. Come in and enter.
I heard a recent interview with
you got to see the movie
with his son, and he said that was Walter Matthau's favorite movie he made was The Sunshine Boys.
It's very, very.
And Neil Simon says the only movie that was funnier than how he wrote it. The two actors
The way they
performed it.
brought it out.
Made it fun. There was even a remake of the Sunshine Boys with Woody Allen and Peter.
Really? Woody
and
acting in it?
Peter Falk.
Really?
It was made for television, and it wasn't as good.
Yeah.
Even and actually,
well, you either get it or you don't. But they made
the acting was good, but it was a redoing of it.
It's
because they updated the jokes.
A little bit about the history of that movie. First, it was going to have Jack Benny in it, playing George Burns' part, but he died. There is a little bit of footage of it, but the whole thing is based on Smith and Dale, who were an old vaudeville comedy duo.
Yeah.
Smith and Dale, right?
Smith and Dale, the Doctor sketch.
Yeah, and they had gone through their career, and they were very well remembered, but they were forgotten by most people.
Yeah.
But there were some guys, some writers or whatever, that wanted to bring them back and give them a shot on primetime TV, one of the big shows, and it happened to be Jackie Gleason.
Yeah.
And Smith and Dale did make an appearance on Jackie.
Yeah,
a couple of times, and they did the Doctor sketch, and they always did the Doctor sketch because that's all they could remember. But Doctor, and it's funny to see them. You can get them on. Yeah. You can YouTube that. But it was amazing. Like they just couldn't remember any. Well, like you were saying, when you do the circuit, the vaudeville circuit, you could take the same act.
Yeah.
All
for
years,
30 years maybe. And then once you this happened to
if you came back to the same town, it was like 3 years later, and they had forgotten about it.
And that was they said that was the death of vaudeville, was the Ed Sullivan Show, because a lot of these old acts would appear on the Ed Sullivan, do their act, and then nobody wanted to see it because it was already for you kind of wasted those jokes all in one shot.
But at least those. Yeah. Those variety shows of the 50s, at least they kind of recorded.
They got them.
Yeah, for posterity, what they were like.
They didn't think anyone was going to die in those days.
And also, there's Vitaphone films. Our old friend Al Simons was a big on that. The early sound films, Vitaphone put out these a series of short films. TCM used to show them. Where you put a lot of comedians, a lot of other performers doing short films, and they would record the vaudeville act, and they were hilarious.
Yes,
and amazing, and they did a lot a lot of weird.
The Nicholas Brothers, I remember.
Yeah,
so good.
They were just bouncing all around.
One with great Sammy Davis as like a 6-year-old.
Yeah, but there's some great old Yiddish acts and great old Irish acts. Hello, Mr. Sheen.
Yeah. Oh, Gallagher and
Sheen.
Yeah.
And
Sheen was
and the Yiddish acts. They did some wonderful Jewish type of stuff you could hardly understand. Benny Rubin.
Yeah.
I love these things. And then some crazy little girl. You'd see Rosemary. She did some of those. She was a little girl.
Yeah.
Little girl.
From the Dick Van Dyke Show.
Yeah, but when she was a little girl, she sounded like Bessie Smith. She's like, and I'm gonna sing for you. And she was about 8 years old, you know.
She was a big deal.
She was.
They actually made a Betty Boop cartoon with her in it.
Really?
Yeah.
Of Fleisher.
But I mean with Betty Boop and Rosemary.
I think I've seen.
She was live action and Betty Boop was animated.
Oh, gotta dig that out. Yeah.
There's a few with there's Cab Calloway and there's I think Louis Armstrong.
Oh, Cab, they did more of Cab than anybody. Yeah. But the Fleischer stuff was quite prolific. They did a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
And if you dig into, you'll see some great old vaudeville and song acts and pop songs of the 20s and 30s recorded right there.
Helen Kane.
Yeah. Oh, I met who's the other one that?
Oh, the one after her was
did most of them.
Yeah,
Ann Bluebell.
Yeah, that. I'll remember.
Hello, dear, Ann Bluebell.
She was acting in a lot. She's in the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation movie. That woman. I don't remember her in that moment. Yeah.
Oh, I hate this. But anyway, she used to do Bluebonnet.
Bluebonnet. That's where most people know her. I mean, in the modern era.
And I met her out there at that big science fiction fantasy convention.
She made a hilarious movie with Woody Allen, where it's called Oedipus Rex, And what happens is
That's the name of the movie?
yeah, it's a funny movie. What happens
That's
is
another one I
he
haven't
has this nagging mother played by her, and then he takes her to a magic show, and she goes. The magician makes her disappear, and she doesn't come back. And Woody is actually kind of feeling good about it. And then all of a sudden, like maybe a week later, you see her big head in the sky yelling at everybody. It's a hilarious movie.
I gotta see this.
Yeah, it's part of New York Stories.
One of his later films.
Yeah.
Yeah, he keeps making them because Woody knows how to make them film to a budget, and he's got his investors that because he has enough of an audience to make back the nut, as they used to say. You got to make the nut. I learned that in trying to study film finance.
He gets the film
or
made,
the theater finance.
Yeah.
But anyway, you make back you make a profit.
Yes.
It may not be a huge profit. Some of his movies have done really huge.
They do well in
like
Europe.
Annie Hall did.
Well, that's in America.
Biggest.
Do you know that speaking of movie grosses, sadly, for the longest time, Annie Hall and Schindler's List, two Jewish-themed movies, were the lowest grossing films that won Best Picture.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I thought
which was actually
I thought Schindler's did quite well, but
well, they were actually both made with low budgets, only because they knew that they weren't going to get big audiences in America. I mean, they made their profits, but they didn't make Titanic
Schindler's
or Star Wars type.
Schindler's is a big victory. Yeah. What do you call it? When something's it's a very successful piece of art.
Yeah, well,
and
it's a serious.
And it's one of my favorite Spielberg films between that and Close Encounters. But
finally made a good movie.
Well, he made a lot of good movies. But when he started, he announced he was going to do it. I said, "Oh my God, what's he trying to do?" And is it going to be so depressing? How do you make anything at the end? And I started to worry that it would be. He would start making comments like some of the documentaries do. They start putting down Southerners, saying, "You're a bunch of Nazis," which I've seen happen on some.
They were bad guys, though, the Nazis.
No, I'm talking about making Southern. We do have some Nazis in the South, I'll admit, but we're not all like that. Sometimes certain media things that come over, they'll give you the impression like we're just a bunch of.
No.
But we're a mixed bag.
The big cities, we have a lot of nice people.
Country people are great.
Country people.
But anyway, what I'm saying is Spielberg, I didn't have to worry about that with Spielberg. Not only did he not do that, he turned a very depressing, sad, horrifying subject matter, and he found a great story that's uplifting. Yeah. And you're crying at the end, and they're in Israel putting those stones on top of the gravestone, which I guess is
what they do
over there.
You know what's kind of weird is that they don't tell the story after that, after the end of World War II. And what happened was Schindler was kind of bouncing around from continent to continent making money. He was actually lost all. He was one of those guys who money went through his fingers and all. And Israel, when he died. Yeah, but I mean, it's he
could raise it, but he
couldn't hang on to it. He was a good spender too. And what happened was, by the time he died, he didn't have any money, and the only country that said, "Hey, we'll bury you," Israel, because of saving all those people.
Oh, that's great.
And there's also a story. That's why he's buried in Israel. That's the only reason. And
I forgot. I remember the last scene takes place in the cemetery.
Yeah.
But I forgot that it was Schindler's grave.
Yeah, and it was. I actually met Schindler's wife because I went to the Museum of the Holocaust when they were honoring that movie, and the movie hadn't come out yet, but everyone in the movie was
you
there.
Mean the one in Richmond?
No, the one in Washington. There wasn't one in Richmond at that point, and Ruth Bader Ginsburg was there. It's the only time I've ever seen a Supreme Court judge. She was just picked not that long ago, maybe 3 months before that, and she was there to honor Mrs. Schindler, who was given a distinction there. And she was there, and I met her, and I didn't get to meet all the stars over there except for Liam Neeson, and he was only because he was the last one. There? Yeah, Liam was there, and Ben Kingsley was there, and I think the head of Universal Pictures was there, with Lou Wasserman, and I saw all those people, and I saw and I got to meet Liam. Spielberg was there, but I didn't meet him. I've met him before, but I didn't meet him that time. I didn't make a movie with you. Made a movie with Spielberg, didn't you?
No,
Lincoln?
I almost worked for him.
Yeah.
But my dad had that stroke,
Oh.
and I was going to work for his animation company, and I got the letter in there. They liked my stuff.
Yeah.
They said, we're not hiring quite yet. Wait in another 6 months. And now I remember what Dad had the stroke, and he was crying, and we're so close. Don't leave me. Yeah, but not only Hell's Bells, but it was just, he could just, don't leave. And anyway, and Mom would say, go ahead, do your career, but anyway.
It's awful being,
Yeah. And,
but families, that's what you do.
Well, who knows? But I could have gone out there, make enough money, and put them in a home. No, get them to come out there. But anyway,
yeah,
there's so much sentimentality that enters into.
But weren't you was supposed to be in Lincoln when it was filmed in Richmond with Spielberg and Daniel Day-Lewis?
Daniel Day-Lewis, yeah. I know I tried out for. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
I saw you grew a beard.
I did an audition.
Yeah,
for
you grew
a speaking part.
Yeah.
I did an audition for a speaking part, and I was gonna play one of Lincoln's cabinet.
Yeah.
Not the guy that Seward. It was like Seward's icebox. I don't know if I was gonna play Seward or one of those.
Yeah.
The guy that bought Alaska.
I know Seward.
It was a scene.
Secretary of State.
It was a scene, and I remember I either was playing Seward or I spoke about Seward or something. It was a cabinet member.
Had a great cast.
You download all. You have to download all that stuff because you can't keep your head full of it. But around here, usually I save the side.
Yeah.
And I keep it as a souvenir.
You grew I remember.
Oh, I've raised
a beard.
I've raised
and
a
I
beard
mean like a hillbilly beard, because all the I mean like a lumberjack's beard. It wasn't like a jazz.
My beard comes out like a Brillo.
But I mean, they wanted people to have long beards because this was at the end of the Civil War and filming this movie.
I don't know if I got around to growing it that long, but when I lived in Montreal, I did.
Yeah.
I looked like a Russian because when it gets really it gets really cold up there, and it just protects you. It's like better than a scarf.
I've had a beard.
I took a picture of that beard. I wanted to preserve it, and I went in one of those photo booths, automatic photo booths, and I look like a revolutionary.
I can't really. I tried growing a beard like when I was a teenager, like a lot of teenagers, and all I get was one long sideburn.
General Burnside.
General Burnside. One Burnside.
You got it on one side but not the other? How did that work?
I know. Like my right side was a little more active.
You could do like Groucho and paint in the.
Oh, I was doing that. Yeah, I was like Giuliani leaking from his head. I was doing that with my
Giuliani leaking from. Wait a minute. Giuliani leaking from his head.
The famous. Well, that's a few weeks ago. He was sweating and everything. It was rolling down his.
I don't have television.
Yeah. So anyway, take it from me, you don't miss much.
Well, that's one. One is
to read.
One is to
watch this one.
One is to save money, and another is I can program my own stuff on YouTube and just get what I want to watch.
It's better to produce than to watch anyway.
Well, I mean, I just find stuff to watch.
Yeah.
And I like good.
I've watched so much in my life.
It's so much I need to download.
Like I missed anything.
Squeeze all of these images out of my head. Ooh, there goes Toledo.
News and current events and sports is all I need to know at this point.
Sports. Now, I've never liked to. Only sports I like to watch is the Olympics.
Okay, that's every 4 years.
Once every 4 years.
You don't have to worry about that.
But I don't like team sports.
Yeah.
And I can't follow what's going on. There's too many numbers. I hear guys sitting around, he's going to get this kind of average. He's going to get 14 in the next show. And I'm going to bet on this average of this 15 is going to make a 10-point spread. What are they, accountants? Where's the sports? I want to see a guy jumping over something, falling, and grabbing a ball. I like that.
let me tell you something.
And I can get excited about that. I like doing it if I'm able to.
I used to love watching sports, and I love trying to play. So I wasn't very good at sports, like everybody. I'm just do the best I can.
Well, I was overweight, but
Yeah.
I was coordinated.
Yeah.
When I ever got it down.
I hated team sports because I always lost the lost.
I
Lost the game.
like soccer. We
For the
got to
team.
do soccer for 2 weeks
Yeah.
as a trial thing, just as to introduce us, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
And it was like everybody gets to kick the ball. You're going like this. It's like one of those little pachinko games. You're dodging and thrusting. Everybody gets a chance at the ball and get to kick it in the goal. But in football, it's like the damn army.
Yeah.
It's like you come on there and you got some shoulders and they say, okay, you block. Okay, got to learn these calls. 85, 65, 45, more numbers. I'm dyslexic. I hate the numbers anyway. They didn't trust me being the quarterback anyway. The quarterback's the only guy that gets to have any fun. They throw him the ball and he gets to throw it, and the running back gets to grab it. Yeah. These guys are out there. You don't see them. You're there. You're there to block. You got to block, and there's a wall of blocking. Yeah, I can block. Okay, now scrimmage. Okay, but where's the ball? I never got to see the ball. Oh, there's the ball. It's gone again. Okay, now we go up to this line. Get on this line. There's the ball. Where's the ball? I don't know. I got to block. I'm sick of this damn game.
You could play a whole long career in football and never touch a football. And never touch the ball. Which is weird because
what's the fun in that?
Yeah, what's the fun in that?
And I don't even know where the ball. I don't know where the damn ball is.
Baseball, you hit the ball. Basketball, you shoot the ball. Football, you never touch the ball.
It's
like watching it. That's one game I like to watch.
It's like what's his name? Carlin.
Play it.
Who's John Carlin? Carlin.
George Carlin.
George Carlin. He said, baseball is pastoral. Football is military.
Yeah.
It's pastoral. You have an error. Football, you got a penalty.
I wanted to be a sports announcer when I was a kid, and I still harbor that I could do it because I love voice and I love talking, and I thought and watching sports I could do that.
But I got back when I got back at all that football crap when I got in the animation industry. I went to Canada.
Yeah,
we had a fun animation group, crazy animators, boys and girls working in a animation studio, and then we'd go out and have some fun together. And we played touch football.
Yes,
and with girls and everything like that.
Oh.
And
touching is fun.
But in that game, I became the hero. I ran for a touchdown.
There you go.
And I got yay. And then I went home and ran into a girl that I just met, and we had sex together.
Oh,
it was like I felt.
Wow.
It was
that's the greatest day I've ever heard.
Yeah,
you score a touchdown, you have sex.
Yeah, it's like I got back. I know what it feels like to be a football hero. But I still don't like football. I don't like football. I like playing in the band.
Yeah,
over there by the cheerleaders.
You saw all the games when you were in school.
Yeah, I was in the band.
Yeah.
Pep band.
Yeah, the pep band. Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. Notre Dame fight song. And our director. Dun 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 dun. He usually didn't play very hard stuff. Pep band because the director wasn't there. It was just the head trombonist was the director. He said, "Okay, get up this number."
Yeah.
And you clip it onto your thing. But that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
And the girls, the cheerleaders were looking great.
I know.
And
the first pretty girls I ever saw were cheerleaders.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, these are not the same type of girls I'm used to seeing, which were just little 6-year-old girls.
And then sometimes you get
they look like real women.
Sometimes you get to ride home on the bus.
Yeah.
And
they looked better than Mae Questel, didn't they?
Mae Questel.
That was Aunt Bluebell. I remembered her name.
But when Mae was young, I've seen some. She was cute.
Yeah,
she was a cute lady.
Yeah.
But Mae Questel. I got to meet her.
Now, what was she like? Well, how did you meet her?
She sounded like Aunt Bluebell. She was at that
Yiddish theater, I think.
That great big,
Probably at one time.
Who was that woman that had a TV series?
Molly Pecan at the Goldbergs.
Yeah, that was good. Anyway, that's from the 50s. But no, what's
same
Mae Questel?
sound, yeah.
Mae Questel was out at that big convention,
Yeah.
science fiction.
That's
fantasy.
right. She was the
There
voice
was so many
of
people.
Olive Oil too, and Betty Boop
Yeah.
at around the same.
Popeye.
And they were pretty much the same voice.
I could
Not all that different.
But
Yeah. Same Fleisher.
she was
studio.
nice. She was nice.
Yeah.
And she was one of the few Fleischer people I've ever met. I had a chance to meet a couple of Fleischer animators who used to meet at McDonald's. When I was out in L.A.,
Yeah.
the guy I was staying with, an animation friend, Ross,
Yeah.
he knew a couple of Fleischer guys that used to show up at McDonald's. Say, we could go down and talk to the Fleischer guys at McDonald's if we find them over there. And we were going to do that, but it never came together.
Actually, the characters.
You have to find them when they're there.
The characters on McDonald's commercial, like the Grimace and the Hamburger, are like Fleischer characters almost. They would have blended right in. Maybe that's why they liked them so much.
I worked on a job where I did some of those.
Yeah.
I designed a video game arcade thing with Hamburger and the whole village. I drew the whole.
Yeah.
They live in a village.
Yeah.
They live in their own little world. Yes, and there's a big clock.
Yeah.
It just tells you when to eat hamburgers. That's all it does. It doesn't say when it's time to go, when it's time to get off to work. It tells you when to eat hamburgers and when to eat those other things. In the morning, the Egg McMuffins.
The Egg McMuffins,
yeah.
And
which are pretty good.
The French fries, yeah.
Yeah.
They have those waffle cakes there, too. That everyone seems
I got to stay away from the fried stuff, but I like the meat stuff.
The meat, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah. In fact, I remember when Bill Clinton was eating at McDonald's, and Diane Sawyer says, "Why do you eat at McDonald's? It's not very healthy for you." And he said, "That's my." He goes, "The filet of fish sandwich is very good for you, but the filet of fish sandwich is actually worse for you than the hamburger. The hamburgers are actually typical hamburgers for the most part, while the filet of fish was broiled in oil or
what
something."
He didn't want to admit to Hillary was that he's hooked on the secret sauce. Yeah, I just love that secret sauce, and after a good jog, it kind of gives me a buzz. You know what I'm saying?
And now he's a vegan.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a vegan.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That's a word I can't stand. Because I go, what's a vegetarian?
Oh,
if that's a vegan, what's a vegetarian?
I can tell you the difference.
I know the difference, but I don't believe it. All right, a vegan is like real vegetarian. A vegetarian
everything,
gets
all
extreme. A vegetarian can eat fish sometime or something.
No, a vegetarian. Okay, I can tell you how it works. Vegetarian or a vegan is not a whole lot different, but
I don't like their personality.
Neither one eats meat. If you eat meat, you're no longer forget it. You're not a vegetarian. Yeah. Okay. Now
I eat vegetarian from time to time. I like it if it's a good meal.
But
I had lentil beans for lunch.
But vegans actually will not have any animal products. They do not drink milk. They don't eat butter. They don't.
Nothing.
Yeah. And my
joke,
they
won't let you forget it.
Yeah, they give you a speech every time you eat anything.
I am very pro-animal and everything like that, but I just can't make my body go that far.
I know someone who's such
I like to think like the Native Americans. When you do have to eat meat, it's a blessing. You need to bless the animal, thank the animal, but don't waste it. You kind of bless it and thank the animal for giving you of his essence, so you can go on living. And
I tried to out vegan girlfriend of mine who was a vegan. She goes, she says, I'm such a vegan that I don't even eat animal crackers. And so I said, I'm a bigger vegan than you. I said, what do you mean? Because I don't even bite my fingernails.
I'm an even bigger vegan than you because I bought one when Chevy was producing them back in the late 70s. And it ran like crap.
I got.
No, that was a Vega.
I couldn't pronounce. I thought it was vegan the first time I saw it.
Still sounds like an old GM.
Do the Vega.
Old GM car.
Anyway, I got a little present for you.
Oh my God!
This is a microphone.
Oh,
but it's actually a retro mic auto speaker.
Oh,
I don't know, but I don't think it works as a mic.
It
just I think it does. I think you hook it up to your computer and the speakers comes out. So that's for you.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you didn't have to.
Yeah.
And I got you with a big rock.
That was great. It knocked some sense into me. I don't think it works as a microphone though, but it looks good.
It's something. It's a cool prop.
Yeah. So there you go.
Let's put it there.
Yeah. Hook it up I mean, not now, but in the
it
future.
won't show up, but well, sort of.
And now it's Boulevard Watch time.
Yeah.
13 o'clock.
Now, here we are at Dodger Stadium. We're going to come down to you at the halftime.
The
But
Chavez
first-
Ravine.
Yes. First, we have Kurt Gowdy.
I got you a few things because you've been such a good guy.
Oh
and
my
you've
God!
and
What are
come
you,
to the show.
Mr. Santa?
Yeah, I always give gifts.
Okay.
Remember this stuff when you were a kid?
Silly putty.
Silly
I've
putty.
been
That glows
wanting-
in the dark.
Yes, that's what I've been wanting.
Silly putty.
I'm serious. I love that stuff.
It's the greatest. Silly putty.
Silly putty.
I think
Mm.
silly putty was
Have
something.
you got a slinky?
I think no.
A slinky.
What do you think I'm Santa Claus? No, what happened was silly putty. I think was something that the Whammo company. It was like they were throwing it out, and they said, "Wait a minute, we can make a toy out of it."
It's like the set from the Merv Griffin show. Don't throw that thing out. Kramer can use it.
Ooh, Merv.
Merv. You know, it was so cool about. I love about Merv.
Yeah.
You'll be watching the show. We'll be talking like this, and suddenly the camera will cut, and then he'll be going, "We'll be right back."
We'll be right.
We're just talking. We're talking. We're
Right.
going, and then suddenly, "We'll be right back." The reason was
Yeah.
he went over.
Yeah.
He went over time, and they had to edit it.
Yeah.
And then after the show said, "Okay, Merv, you gotta do a few. We'll be right back." So we'll set the camera down, and we'll be right back. We'll be right back.
I love the
We'll be
comedians
right back. You did that.
on there. Yeah. A lot of great comedians on the Merv.
But Merv couldn't fit the show
Yeah.
when the director said
Yeah. I thought.
when he said you're going over
Yeah.
time, he went over time.
You know that guy Arthur Treacher on there?
And
Yeah.
here's the dear boy himself, Mervyn.
He was.
He was great. He was a
Butler. He's in a lot of Butler
yeah,
parts. Yeah.
I think he
He-
was in a P.G. Wodehouse movie.
Yeah. Jeeves. Yeah. And Wooster. Yeah.
Jeeves and Wooster.
And he was someone told me he was the first he would take breaks from the show and then come back, and he was the first celebrity. I didn't know this at
It
the
was
time.
getting up in years in those days.
Yeah, but he was the first celebrity to announce in the time that he had cancer publicly, and he was going back and forth for chemotherapy. He
Oh,
still lived there like 10 years.
And he talked
through it.
about it on the air.
Yeah, talked about it. Yeah,
I didn't
so,
know that.
Yeah, Arthur.
I never
Treacher.
saw that part.
No, I mean that was the day. That was the day you were at the dentist or something.
Yeah.
Because it was
Well, I
playing in the afternoon.
I noticed that he was gone. I missed him being there.
Yeah.
It wasn't like I'm heartless, but I remember
Yeah.
and then he was back. I thought he'd died.
Yeah.
No, he's back.
No, he's back, and he was like 6.5 feet taller. He was a big guy.
He's a tall
yeah.
guy. And Merv was short.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, I don't think
Hi,
he was
Arthur.
all that short. I think he was like 5'10", but next to him, he was.
I don't
like
know.
Button
I think
Jeff.
Merv was pretty short.
Ooh.
Ooh. He's a great pianist.
Yes.
Merv.
He had a big hit
Play
with
the
the Freddie
album.
Martin band. I've got the lovely bunch of
Coconuts.
Yeah.
And they are standing in a row.
Big one, small one, some as big as your head. A flick of the wrist, a flick of the wrist, and that's the showman said. I've got the lovely bunch of coconuts. Standing in a row. Oh, there stands me wife,
Wife, the idol of my life, singing rolla bola bola penny a pitch. Rolla bola bola penny a pitch. That's one of those songs that starts in one song and ends. It's like working on a railroad.
Yes.
It goes through three
Oh,
songs.
yeah.
I've been working on the railroad all the live long day.
Yeah.
I've been working on the railroad just to pass the time away. Don't you hear the captain shouting? Rise up so early in the morning.
Don't you hear the captain?
Dinah, blow your Dinah. Then he goes, Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow? Dinah, won't you blow your horn? And that's a good Christmas song.
Someone's in the kitchen with
Dinah. He has 4 songs. In the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen of Dinah, playing on the old, strumming on the old banjo and singing. Fee fi fiddle I o, fee fi fiddle I o, oh, fee fi fiddle I o, strumming on the old banjo. Boom.
I like playing your belly button there. That was pretty
Yeah. Yeah.
That was great.
I converted to Buddhism recently.
I didn't know that fourth
and
part.
I got into part.
I knew the up through. I didn't know the last fiddling on the old
Fiddle-I-O,
banjo. That's a good. I like that. Yeah.
Strumming on the old banjo.
Strumming on the old banjo.
But you don't actually sing strumming after that. You go and play and fee-fi, fiddle-I-O, fee-fi, fiddle-I-O.
Yeah.
Fiddle-I-O.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got
those old
those
songs.
Yeah, they're from working on the railroad. Those
And
guys made them up.
I think that the Coconut song is from the British music.
British, yeah.
I mean, from a long time ago, like from the
Well, I know the
turn of
game.
the 20th century.
I know the game they're talking about
Yeah.
when they sing "roll a bowl, a ball, a penny, a pitch,"
Yeah.
which is bocce ball or
Bocce, yeah.
or bowling, lawn bowling,
Lawn Bowl, yeah.
which is a lot of fun. We used to do it in our backyard here.
Yeah.
It's one of the many games.
Oh, isn't it great? Bocce?
One of the many games we had in our backyard.
Oh,
And have you ever done
I
it?
played it, yeah.
And in French they call it bocce ball,
Yeah.
but it's the same thing. In French they have little steel balls,
Yeah.
but you throw out a little small
Yeah.
point ball or whatever you call it.
Yeah.
You throw it out there, and then you have to get it as close to that one.
All men and their games, we just love our balls, don't
Yes, we
we?
do.
Just throwing them and pitching them and underhand.
We love our rim shots.
So I have one more thing. I think you'll like this.
Oh my God, you're loading me down. You're
Yeah.
making me.
This is the Dean,
Guilty.
the best of the Dean Martin variety show. I think you'll like that.
Everybody loves my
These were
body.
very expensive when they came out. You could buy them at yard
Sometimes.
sales and thrift stores now. So, and I encourage people to
And it's
collect
got
them.
Ruth Buzzy on here.
Yeah, look who's on there. There's Bob and Bob Hope. I mean, Jack Klugman, Howard Cosell, Dennis Weaver, Carson, Ruth Buzzy, and John Wayne.
God, I love his show. Is one of the best comedy variety shows ever.
I love it.
And he just kind of sailed through the whole
Yeah.
thing, you know.
We never rehearsed. They rehearsed around him, and then he'd show up that day, and they would film it. And that's why whenever he blew a line, they just left it in and everything.
It was great.
Yeah. So Dean was
Oh.
Dean was Mr. Cool. Oh, by the way, Bob Hope. You know what I used to like
him
about
better, I'm sorry, but I like him better than Jerry. I love Jerry, but Dean's got a date.
Yes.
I love Dean.
I was, I did the show for many years with Gorgeous George, and we had a sort of Martin and Lewis thing going. But I don't know who was Martin. We both thought we were Dean Martin, and the other guy was Jerry Lewis. I mean, that's the way.
Who was losing? Losing all over the place. Yeah.
But anyway,
well, thank you for all these wonderful
thing. Yes.
gift items.
Yes, there's stuff I knew you would like.
I will have fun
Yeah,
this Christmas playing with
them.
Yes.
Yes. See, I'm a man who has everything. So
I might go out and buy myself another toy Edsel.
Yeah.
And bat it around with this.
You know, Letterman had one of those mics on his desk, and he had a boom guy holding the mic. And there was questions from the audience. This is always before the show. I saw Letterman a few times. This and they said, "Why do you have a microphone on your desk and a guy holding a microphone?" He goes, "Everyone asks that question. The one on my desk doesn't work. Just looks cool.
It's cool, yeah."
And
David Letterman.
Yeah. I've been watching his show on.
Have you seen
on
his
Netflix? Yeah. He has a big beard on.
Yeah, he had another one on the internet. I guess that's the same.
That's the one. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it's good. I mean, it's a more serious story, but he's still making jokes, and if he has a comedian on, he's still telling. Because none of it's funnier than Letterman. You know, when the day comes.
Does he talk serious?
Well, he says that important guests, like he had, I think, Barack Obama was on there. But then he'll have someone like Dave Chappelle, and they'll be kind of funny and serious at the same time.
Why didn't he do that on his original show?
Because
he would always. They complained he would joke up too much. I mean, you couldn't get a serious guy on there.
Yes.
Now Johnny always had serious.
But
people.
Johnny was by himself. He didn't have any competition. He had an hour and a half show. If you remember, on Carson. The last 15 minutes of the show on a typical night when he had that long show would have a writer. And a lot of people said that was the most interesting part of the show because he actually had someone who actually had something to talk about rather than just
he'd bring in what's his name?
Carl Sagan.
Carl Sagan talking about billions and billions of stars.
And they were good, yeah.
Which reminds me, there's a conjunction of Saturn and Jupiter out tonight. I wanted to see that.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, then we, without a moment to lose, You play us Happy Christmas, everybody.
Let's do some more carols on our way. Throw it a carol. Hey, can you think of a carol? I'll try to play it. I used to play a lot of carols.
I don't know. Carols make me sad. There's one song that chokes me up about grandma and the...
You don't like carols?
In a stampede.
You don't like carols, you like Bob and Ted and Alice. You don't like carols, you like Bob and Ted and Alice.
I know all the carols, or most of the carols, so I could at least hum along to them. Yeah, so play the best one you can out, and Happy Christmas, everyone, from the Keith Van Allen and Kaye Lazar and the Van Allen's Attic. So here we go.
Happy Christmas, everybody!
Happy Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, Happy everybody! That was swinging, pal! Thank you! Good night.